Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Carmen. Welcome. So in this video today, we're going to talk about the universal year number and the universal energy in numerology for the year 2022. And the universal year energy is kind of like the energy that will affect everybody. So it's the energy that affects the collective and the masses, and it will affect you on a personal level as well, because it's affecting everyone and it's affecting the world. If you want to find out specifically all of the details of what will happen specifically in your life during the year 2022, then you need to find out what your personal year number is. So your personal year number is basically the personal number that you will be experiencing during each year. And it's kind of like a very personal energy for you, and it will give you a lot of details as to what specifically will happen in your life during the following year. So if you want to find out on an individual level what will happen for you, then check out that video that I did on how to calculate and interpret your personal year number. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. But you want to watch this video too, because the universal energy for everybody, right? The universal number also affects you on a personal level as well, because it's affecting the masses and the collective. So how do you calculate the universal year number in numerology? All you have to do is take the number 2022 and add it together, and you keep reducing it until you get a single digit. So 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, and 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. So the universal number for the year 2022 in numerology is a number 6. But I want you to keep in mind that not all 6 years are going to be the same, because you have to look at the two final numbers that you had basically before you got to the 6 energy. And in this particular year, the final two numbers that we got were 4 and 2 before we got to the universal 6 number. So by looking at the 4 and the 2 energy, it will really help to break it down for us and show us what specifically, what makes this 6 year different than other 6 years before in the past, because they're not going to all be the same. And 4 in numerology is the number of hard work. As I always say in my videos, it's the number of achievement and putting down tracks, getting the work done. And it's not always the easiest energy. So whenever you have a 4 as one of the final two numbers in a universal year number, it's not always going to be the easiest year, because 4 is not an easy number. And everybody who has this number in their chart, in their core numbers, they know, right? You 4s out there, you guys know that this is not an easy number to have. When you have this 4 energy going on, you really do have to put in the work. It's not always the easiest number, because it's a more serious, stable energy. Now the 2 represents balance and making tough decisions, right? Making choices, having to choose between two things, right? And it's also about cooperation, working in cooperation with other people to achieve things that need to get done, basically. So what that tells you is that the year 2022 is going to be a year of putting in the hard work, getting things done, making tough decisions, right? Having to choose between things, two options, and cooperating, working in cooperation with other people to restore balance, responsibility, and justice to the world. Because 6, like number 2, is a very balanced number, and it's all about balance. And we see this happen, we see this energy occurring twice in the 2 and also in the overall 6 energy, right? And 6 is also the number of responsibility and justice. And we're going to get into this more. But this is basically the overall theme for the year 2022, and it's quite different than the previous year, 2021, because 2021 was a universal 5 year, right? And 5 is a very different energy than number 6. The 5 energy can be very surprising. It can be very exciting. It's a very fast-paced energy. It likes to have its freedom, and it doesn't like to be confined. especially by responsibility, right? So it's a very different energy than the number 6 energy. So as you can remember, in the year 2021, we saw massive protesting, right? People felt like their freedoms were being taken away from them, and we saw massive protesting occurring all over the world. And this is what I predicted would happen in my video from last year for the year 2021, that if people felt like their freedoms were being taken away from them, they would protest on a massive level, and we saw this happening. We also saw a lot of unpredictable, spontaneous, erratic weather happening all over the world, right? We saw horrible flooding, massive tornadoes, earthquakes, all kinds of crazy, erratic weather patterns. And this is very common when you have a universal 5 year, because 5 can be a very surprising, and it can be a very erratic type of energy sometimes, where just things come out of nowhere. And I predicted that a lot of that would end up happening in my video for the year 2021, and it did, right? We also saw a lot of big changes and transformation happening on a very micro and macro level. We saw changes within financial structures, we saw changes within the markets, we saw changes within the economic systems, within cultural systems, on all levels. We saw a lot of massive changes taking place, because 5 is the number of transformation and it's the number of change, and we did see that happening. Now 5, unlike number 6, it's not always the most stable energy. So 5 is very exciting, it's very surprising, it can be very fast-paced, but it's not always the most stable. And a lot of people felt this, right? A lot of people felt very unstable at their jobs. A lot of people reported to me that they felt like their lives had become very unstable. Things that they thought were going to be around forever, like relationships, jobs, places that they lived in, suddenly that stability had been pulled out from under them, right? The rug had been pulled out from underneath a lot of people. And a lot of people left their jobs, right? They completely just quit their jobs in the year 2021, right? Because as I mentioned, 5 is the number of freedom, and more people wanted their freedom in 2021. They didn't like being confined to these jobs that they felt they didn't belong at. And we saw massive resignations all over the world, where people just resigned everywhere and started to really question things and think, well, what do I want to do with my life? People who had been living in places for years just decided to completely move and make a big change. Some people moved their whole entire families all over the country, all over the world. We saw a lot of this happening, right? Because the 5 energy can make people feel very unstable. It can make people feel like there's something missing, that there's something that needs to be changed, and it gives people the courage to make those changes and to take that action. And even if you didn't make those changes, you were definitely thinking about it a lot in the year 2021. Now, 2022, like I said, it's a 6 year, and all of the numbers that create that number, 4 and 2, they're all even numbers. The even numbers tend to be more stable, right? So this is going to be a more stable energy than in the year 2021. People will be feeling this a lot more. But don't get me wrong, because of that 4 energy that's involved, it's not going to be the easiest year. It's a very serious energy. It's an energy of achievement. It's an energy of laying the tracks, getting things done, creating things, building things, and really just, putting in the work that needs to be put in, right? Things that needed to get done and needed to be taken care of, plans that needed to be put into action, put into motion, will be taken care of this year, and those plans will be set forward and the work will be put in to get it done. Now, like I said, 6 is the number of balance, and it's a very responsible number. It's all about responsibility. It's basically like the parent that comes in there and takes care of things, fixes things that have been wronged, fixes things and makes them right again. It's like the parent that comes in and says, okay, I see what you've been up to and I don't like it. So now there has to be some accountability. So we're going to see a lot of accountability. We're going to see a restoration of this accountability and a restoration of responsibility, because there's a lot of people out there in this world that have been acting very irresponsible. And there's a lot of systems that are very irresponsible. And there's a lot of things that have become very imbalanced, right? We live in a world where The market is completely imbalanced. Some people are very reckless and irresponsible with the way they act, and other people are not. Politicians have become very irresponsible and reckless. They think they can get away with doing whatever they want and that no justice will ever come to them, and they can just continue to get away with doing bad things, and that nobody will ever call them out upon this, right? A lot of politicians are like this. And it's the same with the market too. We see a lot of corporations, right, that are out there. They think they can get away with doing whatever they want. They can trash the environment. They can treat their employees like garbage. They can do whatever they want. They can hurt the little small business owners, and they think that they can get away with this and nobody will ever bring any accountability to them. A lot of small business owners went bankrupt and had to completely close up and just, give up their businesses. But yet these huge corporations made billions of dollars. So a lot of these large corporations out there made billions of dollars, more money than ever before, because of the pandemic in 2020 and 2021. And it's like that with the housing market too. We see a lot of people, average people, that had to leave their homes because they lost their jobs, or a lot of people that wanted to buy homes were not able to buy them because only, the investors, the people with all the money, could afford them, right? So the huge housing bubble of 2021 occurring all over the world is creating an imbalance because a lot of average people are being priced out of being able to own their own home. We also see imbalances and irresponsibility in the media, where the media has become completely irresponsible and imbalanced, only showing people one side of events, or showing people events that keep them in a constant state of fear and separation, so that they can control and manipulate people. We see this reckless, irresponsible behavior in the financial sections as well with currency. How currency is being overprinted at massive amounts, which is causing horrible inflation and an imbalance in the cost of goods because everything is being overpriced and is becoming overpriced. So basically what I'm saying is that all over the world, a lot of people in positions of power have been behaving very recklessly and irresponsibly, which has caused great imbalances all over the world in all areas. As I've talked about in many of my videos, what's happening right now is that Earth is going through a great awakening process and is ascending into the 5D, the fifth dimension. And what that means is that we are becoming a less dense, dualistic, negative planet and a more light-based planet where more people have a higher level of consciousness and higher levels of awareness. And there's more positivity on the planet, right? And in the year 2022, there is going to be a continuation of that great ascension process happening on the planet. But in order for this to happen, the planet has to go through a purging process. So that's what's happening right now. Earth is going through a purging process where the old ways of reckless behavior are being purged out completely. Because there's a lot of negative energy on this planet that needs to be removed and purged out. And that's what you will see happening in the year 2022. A huge purging process of irresponsible, negative, unhealthy behavior and imbalances that has been caused by people in positions of power. And in that purging process, justice and responsibility will start to be restored to the planet in 2022. It won't be restored completely in 1 year, but you will start to see it happening in the year 2022. There's going to be a restoration of justice. 6 is the number of justice, right? It's ruled by Venus. Venus is the planet of justice, and it rules over the balance scales and things being righted that have been wronged. And so 6 has that energy. It's all about justice being restored. So people that have done wrong in the past, in the year 2021 and beyond, we're going to see a lot of people being punished for wrongs that they have done in the past. People who have done wrong will be punished and wrongs will be righted. People who have done right and have been wronged by other people, justice will be served to those people. So if you are somebody who has basically been on the side where people have done things to you and a lot of wrongs have happened to you, a lot of wrongs will be righted and justice will be served. And we're going to see this on a massive level with a lot of people being held accountable, with a lot of people in the public eye who have done wrong things, who have hurt people. We're going to see justice being served where they are held accountable for their actions. This is going to be a big theme in 2022, and that includes the markets as well. So we're going to see a restoration of responsibility and balance to the financial markets, and that includes currency, and it can also include the stock market too. So because of this, we might see crashes, right? We might see crashes within the stock market. We might see crashes within certain currencies. So it might seem like a crash, but what's really happening is it's a correction, right? 6 is the number of fixing things that are broken, things that are damaged, things that are not healthy. 6 is the number of healing and healing things that are broken. And there's a lot of broken things in our world right now. And the currency systems around the world have become very broken and irresponsible and damaged. And we see this all over the world because there's hyperinflation going on everywhere, right? Where money just doesn't have as much value as it used to have in the past. And that's because money is being printed out on massive levels. And it's just being printed out with no accountability to it. They can just print out as much as they want. And in the process of doing that, they're stealing from everybody because your money and my money, it's not worth as much anymore. That's what inflation is. It's theft on a very individual level. And people don't realize that, right? It might seem like a crash is happening, but like I said, what it really is it's a correction in currencies, a correction in the market to fix everything that has been broken and damaged, and to restore health and vitality to these systems. And 6 is the number of health, as I mentioned before. So there's going to be a restoration of health to some of the systems that have become broken and damaged, but this can also be on a personal level as well. So during 6 universal years, sometimes health issues can come up with people, right? So things that we need to work on within ourselves, within our bodies that are not healthy, sometimes that can come to the surface during a 6 universal year. And that becomes, that comes to your awareness for you to work on so that you can become more healthy and strong. We might also see huge advances within health and medicine as well because of this. So health issues can come to the surface, but also there can be breakthroughs within medicine and, things that help to bring about health to the people. So watch out for that. Huge breakthroughs in the areas of health and healing and medicine in the year 2022. This is going to be the year of the entrepreneur. This is the year of the person who wants to start a small business and work for themselves. They will have huge growth this year. And we're going to see massive amounts of people doing this on a large scale. More entrepreneurs, more small business owners than ever before. The great resignation of 2020, where a lot of those people left their jobs, those people who resigned or thought about resigning, they will either start their own business, right, where they start working for themselves, or they will start working from home. They will have more independence. And you're just going to see a lot of people starting to become more responsible towards taking responsibility of their own lives and becoming more independent for themselves. 6 is also the number of the family. It's the number of the community. And because of this, we will see huge growth in communities, people getting more involved in their communities, and communities starting to grow, right? So, and instead of growth within cities, we might see more growth within smaller communities, right? Suburbs and towns where there's more of a community basis. So, and we saw this happening in 2021 where a lot of people left big cities and moved to smaller towns and suburbs where they could work from home. And we will see a continuation of this where there's more growth within communities and small towns and people starting to become more connected to their communities and getting out and starting to help out their communities a little bit more. That sense of responsibility to your family, to your community will start to rise in the year 2022, and we will see this more so than in the year 2025, where it was more about the self and, personal freedoms. In 2022, it will be more about other people, right? And the people within the community, the people within your family, taking care of your family more. There's going to be a huge growth in families within the year 2022. A lot of people will be having children. 6 is the number of children, taking care of children, and we will see growth, right? We will see growth on an individual level within families and more families starting to grow. A lot of people that left relationships in the year 2020 and 2021, or people that have been single for a very long time, might be getting into relationships in the year 2022, because there's going to be more of a focus on commitment, right? Because 6 is a very committed number. 5 is not the most committed number, but 6 has a very responsible, committed energy to it. And like I said, it's ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet of love, commitment, and partnership. So we will see a growth in this. We will see people that have been single for a long time might be getting into relationships, finding soulmates, coming together with people that they were meant to be with, people that they have been separated with for a long time, twin flame reunions. We will see a lot of twin flame reunions, soulmate connections happening in the year 2022. A lot of people getting engaged, more people getting married, more people focusing on long, true, lasting love. And that wasn't the case in 2021. There wasn't such a focus on that, but you will see more of a focus on that in 2022. So for all of you single people out there who have been single for a long time, you might be getting into a relationship this year. 6 is the number of passion, and on one extreme end of passion is love. However, on the other extreme end of passion is hate. That's right, love and hate are just 2 emotions on the 2 opposite ends of the same spectrum of the emotion passion. So what that means is that yes, we might see an increase in love, caring, and kindness around the world, but we might also see an increase in hate too, possibly even war. Because right, like in the expression all's fair in love and war are 2 ends of the exact same spectrum. So yes, this means more of a possibility of war this year. And all things where great passion is involved, where either the world is in great love with something or is in great hate with something. But remember, if war or other negative displays of passion happened in the year 2022, it's all part of the Great Awakening purging process that I had mentioned before, where negative energy is being purged out to make room for and to move us into the more positive and consciously aware and evolved era that we have moved into. And as a collective, we can always prevent the more negative aspects of the number 6 energy from happening by focusing on the positive aspects of this number and intentionally focusing on positive things to happen this year. If we believe that positive things will happen this year, then we will experience the more positive side of the 6 energy, as what we believe to be true always becomes our reality. And we can definitely shift onto a positive timeline by doing this. And 6 is also the number of beauty, right? I had mentioned that it's ruled by the planet Venus. Venus in astrology is all about beauty, inner beauty and outer beauty as well. So we're going to see a restoration of things that are beautiful within the world. People demonstrating more inner beauty, right? Caring about other people, taking care of the world, taking care of the planet, helping their neighbors, helping their friends out. Inner beauty, we're going to see a restoration of that, where some of that was taken away in the year 2021, but we're going to see a huge restoration of beauty on the outside as well. So a lot of people will be glowing up this year, right? And a lot of people will be, just shedding old patterns and old ways of being and just becoming more naturally beautiful, because, the 42-6, because of the 4 in there, 4 is a very humble energy, right? It's not, it's not a showy kind of energy. It's a more humble, earthy kind of energy. And so the kind of beauty that we're going to see being restored in the year 2021 is going to be a restoration of a more natural beauty, right? We're going to see that within a lot of people, where people are trying to look more naturally beautiful, right? We've seen a lot of fakery in the past few years, where a more fake kind of beauty has been put on a pedestal. But in this year, we're going to see a restoration of a more natural beauty. And because of this, we might see huge changes within the fashion industry, where fashion completely changes. And, we see a new fashion trend coming out that has never been seen before and never been done before. So you might see a lot of changes within the fashion industry and the beauty standards that are around the world. So what is considered beautiful might completely change in the year 2022. And I do believe that because of the 4 and the 2 energy, you will start to see that a more natural beauty becomes a standard that people want to adopt. This year might not be as fast-paced as the year 2021, where a lot of things just took place quickly and unexpectedly. It might not be like that, but this is going to be a much more stable year. A lot more stability will be brought to the world because of this 6 energy. And you're going to see a lot of growth happening for the long-term benefit, and a lot of fixing of things that have been broken, and restoration and healing of things that have been damaged. And like I said, it might not all happen within the year 2022, but we're going to see a lot of movement in that direction. So I hope that you enjoyed this video today, and you will have a lot of growth in the year 2022. Make sure to check out that video to find out what your personal year number is. I'll put a link to it below. Let me know in the comments below what you hope will happen for you in the year 2022 and what you think about what I just told you right now. Let us know in the comments below. If you want to get a personal reading with me, I'll put that information below in the description box. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with other people. It really helps out the channel a lot when you do that. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.